It is the slap that shook not just Chris Rock's face and the world, but also broke Will Smith's hold of Hollywood just over 2 years ago. Will was banned from the Oscars for a decade and effectively frozen out of the business, which he'd made billions of dollars for studio heads. Many studios saw him as damaged goods, worried that audiences would not forgive the shocking attack. But this weekend Will has turned the tables. With Bad Boys, Ride or Die doing great guns at the global and UK box office, industry experts say the Fresh Prince is ready to sit on his throne as Hollywood royalty once more. Smith underwent months of therapy and secret travel trips to help work through his problems, before returning as Miami cop Mike Lowrey for this fourth Bad Boys movie. To add a cheeky twist on his against-the-odds return, one scene sees Will slapped by his co-star Martin Lawrence, who calls him a bad boy. That humor and the film's non-stop action has attracted fans back to the Oscar winner. This weekend cinemagoers made the movie the #1 film worldwide, bringing over £85 million, including almost £3 million in the UK. US film critic Brooks Barnes declared, "Moviegoers sent Will Smith a clear message over the weekend: we forgive you." It's a sentiment echoed by Hollywood insiders. One industry expert, Brodie Cooper, told The Mirror, "It's that famous storyline. Hollywood loves a comeback and adores forgiving their big stars for their sins. And now Will is right back up there at the top of the mountain again following his fall after the slap. He has made his apologies, undergone therapy and taken time away from the limelight, and most importantly returned with a movie which has earned big money. Will and his team have handled this tricky matter very cleverly and allowed him to move on to a bright future." A Los Angeles movie producer, who has worked on Smith films, added, "Will Smith is back and the world has clearly forgiven the slap. We can reveal Will, 55, has been confident since seeing an early cut of the film in February that a renaissance was imminent, and he's secretly made peace with comic rock. It means the work is once more rolling in for The Prince of Bel-Air, and the box office. And not only has Will been working his next blockbuster, a sequel to I Am Legend, but he is plotting a return to music. He is also in talks to lock down a return with the family-friendly studio Disney for the Aladdin sequel, currently being worked up by director Guy Ritchie. Sony also have Will, who earned £27 million as star and producer of Bride, signed for another sequel to the fast-paced cop drama franchise. A Los Angeles movie producer, who has worked on Smith films, noted, "Will Smith is back and the world has clearly forgiven the slap." There was a sense at preview showings to theater owners that this movie recaptures his appeal as a 90s-style movie star. Certainly Hollywood has been readying for a revival. I Am Legend will definitely happen now, and probably another Bad Boys sequel. Disney too will be keen to lock down this type of magic and buzz around him to get him back as the genie as quick as possible. Brodie Cooper of US marketing firm PRRPPD added, "Hollywood loves a comeback and adores forgiving their big stars for their sins. And now Will is right back up there at the top of the mountain again following his fall after the slap. He has made his apologies, undergone therapy and taken time away from the limelight, and most importantly returned with a movie which has earned big money. And this success is especially important to Hollywood this summer, given the last few weeks of blockbuster releases have been disappointing and concerning for the business. These not-office figures show that Will remains a bona fide movie star and big-name draw in an age where it is tough to encourage audiences to movie theaters. certainly every studio head will be keen to discuss projects with Will. Another interesting move of including the slap in the film helps Will move on from that scandal, making the audience feel like they are able to laugh about it with him gives the impression that he has put it behind him. Cooper added that Smith, no doubt aided by proactive PR teams, has been able to control any more fallout about the slap. Cooper noted, Will hasn't needed to go into a fun-depth explanation about the reasoning behind that horrible moment. Instead he has focused on his recovery and opened up on what he has learned from the past 2 years away from the limelight mostly. Will and his team have handled this tricky matter very cleverly and allowed him to move on to a bright future. Will has danced around the scandal, telling the Full Send podcast about his rock-bottom moment. The Oscar Best Actor winner admitted, "Nobody is spared destruction. You can do everything but you are going to do on your knees at some point. It like the valley of the shadow of death. But it's just the shadow. It is not actually death. It is just scaring you, making you think it is death. Hold on and keep walking and you will come back to light and come back better than ever." Will felt that his fall from grace reminded him he was mortal and that his beloved public image was not the full picture of him as a man. "I had a couple of dark nights where I had to look at myself and realize Will Smith's a wonderful energy but he is only part of me. But there's other parts of me that needed my attention. I think about life in terms of story and I'm trying to figure out where I am in my storyline. In the past couple of years I felt that I needed to go out and venture into the unknown and learn the things that I didn't know and understand. I have always been attracted to my edge, to the scary place, where I am about to do something or experience something that is uncomfortable for me. Social media opened up and gave me a reason to do things and get out of the bubble I was living in." U.S. reports state that Will and his wife Jada Pinkett remain married, but do not reside together any longer. The 55-year-old candidly managed to plug his film when asked about the importance of marriage. He named his spouse of 26 years as one of the few people he would consider to be a ride or die. He told CBS, "It's funny, I was just talking about this. I have always been blessed that there has never been a time in my life when I didn't look to the side and have a ride or die right there." Jada is one of the most gangsta ride or dies I've ever had. Will boasted that having his family remain supportive amid his journey allows him a bright future in show business. "This is the greatest time in my life. This is legit the highest greatest moment. Because I am better on the inside. The outer world can only be a reflection of your inner world. So for me I am more excited than ever, more creative and more clear about what I want to do and what I want to be." In the last year he reunited with lifelong close friend and song partner Jazzy Jeff. Talking about his music comeback plans, Will revealed, "I am ready. I want to make new music. When I shoot a movie I am the instrument of a director, but music comes from my heart. I have more to offer. I have some things coming for you. The last couple of years of my life have been like spiritually, emotionally, just transformative, so I have more to say than I've ever had to say in my life and music was the only place that I could truly express what I had to say." Will enjoyed a huge music career with hits like Getting Jiggy with It, Summertime, Boom Boom, Wild Wild West, and Men in Black. Will has been working with Creed star Michael B. Jordan on a script for I Am Legend 2 with a plan to film next year. Akiva Goldsman, who co-wrote I Am Legend with Mark Protosevich, was back to pen the sequel's script. Will and Jordan spent a week prepping their creative notes and thoughts on the 2007 hit movie's follow-up. Will confirmed the deal to Full Send. I am working with Michael. It is really good and a cool concept. In the theatrical version my character died, but in the DVD there were two endings, one, where my character survived. We have had a week together working on script stuff. He is the truth. You cannot teach taste. Snatch director Guy Ritchie is also working on the Aladdin sequel. He has stated he'd gladly have Will back to reprise the role in the studio's planned sequel. I've never met a more lovely man, and working with him was one of the most wonderful, great experiences I've ever had, Guy, who's also adapting Disney's Hercules, told The Hollywood Reporter at the Red Sea International Film Festival in Saudi Arabia. I never saw anything other than the consummate, generous gentleman. I wouldn't have any issue casting Will Smith in anything, because, as I say, he was just the effing perfect gentleman. Away from the eyes of the world, Will and funny man Chris Rock have called a truce after the infamous Oscar night slap which shocked the world just 2 years ago. According to the pair's mutual pal and US comic Cedric the Entertainer, the duo are now détente, having admitted we've both crossed the line. Moving forward they are now good, he added. Cedric is proud of the truce, calling Smith a solid human being. The Neighborhood star concluded that Smith's slap-rather punch showed how very personal the animosity had become after years of taunts from Rock over the Hitch actor's marriage for years. Cedric said, "That was one of those times. It was a moment in time where you're dealing with something that's very personal and family. It got done in front of everybody else. But the thing about when something personal that happens, and I always say a smack is more personal than a punch. And so when someone smacks a person, you realize that something is very personal happening there. And that's what we didn't know as an audience. We only saw the result and then decided it was something. And that's what I was confident on. I was confident both of them understood what was happening at that moment and they got to get through it. And then we just saw a thing and we all reacted. But both Chris and Will are able to, in hindsight, realize we've both crossed the line and like, you know what, you good, my man? Thank you. And we'll get through it. Will seems to have more than got through it. The slap might have left him painted as a real-life bad boy, but it's his movie alter ego that looks set to get Will back into Hollywood's good books.